In the Rescue Part 2 of classic Doctor Who, we see the storyline come to its convenient conclusion, and spoilers, if you really don't want to know what happens, turn off the video, I suppose. So, Corkillian slash Vicky's father, they end up dying, and the Doctor decides that he's going to tell Vicky that, well, rather not tell Vicky that they were the same person. He decides he's going to let Vicky live with this for presumably the rest of her life. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's the more ethical thing to do is to lie there or to be honest there. One tends to... I imagine if anyone would be asked beforehand, and most people would prefer to know the truth, I would imagine. And so it just seems like a bit of disrespect to Vicky's dignity that the Doctor would lie to her there. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me know if you've got an opinion in the comments. Given the rather short runtime of a 2-episode serial, there's a certain degree to which the rescue doesn't waste too much of one's time, and so it hardly feels like a painful viewing experience as a result, I feel. I like the costume design. That little worm creature which Barbara kills, sadly I suppose, it's cool. I like all the kish quality of the old Doctor Who, certainly, and there's plenty of it here to love or mock depending on one's disposition. Let's read about the filming of this particular serial. The Rescue was the first in a new production block of Doctor Who. The first production block had lasted for 52 weeks, with the final 2 stories, Planet of Giants and the Dalek Invasion of Earth, held back to open the second season. The regular cast took a 6-week break before beginning production on The Rescue. Model filming for the serial began on the 16th of November 1964 at BBC Television Film Studios on Stage 2. The model spaceships were designed by Raymond Cusick, both in flight and wrecked, and created by Shawcraft Models in 10 days. Cusick had found a cheap material he called reeded hardboard, which is spray-painted silver and used for the outside of the craft prop. Model shots of the TARDIS falling off the mountain were filmed on the 17th of November. Rehearsals for the first episode took place from the 30th of November to the 3rd of December 1964 at the London Transport Assembly Rooms in Wood Green. O'Brien encountered difficulties learning her lines and became worried when other cast members were able to rehearse about their scripts by the second day. Caroline Ford visited on O'Brien's first day to wish her luck. Nice of her. The first episode was recorded on the 4th of December at Riverside Studios. It overran by 15 minutes. There was a happy atmosphere among the cast, including a picnic in Hartnell's dressing room. After Barrett fell asleep in the studio, the cast and crew left and switched off the lights to make him believe that he had slept all night. Rehearsals for the second episode took place from the 7th to the 10th of December, with recording on the 11th of December. In the scene where Barbara shoots the sand beast, the powder in the prop detonated prematurely and Hill was treated for shock and a sore face. The Dido Temple was a large set that was lit in such a way to create a dark atmosphere. Dark drapes and smoke were also used. And what of the critical response? After the first episode's broadcast, T.C. Worsley of the Financial Times felt that the Corkillion was lacking compared to the Daleks, sure, but appreciated its name. At the BBC's Programme Review Board after the second episode, Sidney Newman said that O'Brien had made a great impact on the show, noting that her performance had improved others. Retrospective reviews were generally positive. In the Discontinuity Guide in 1995, Paul Cornell, Martin Day and Keith Topping wrote that the serial just about works as an introduction to Vicky, but is too inconsequential to sustain any real interest. Yeah. In the Television Companion 1998, David J. Howe and Stephen James Walker described the story as one of the best examples of character-driven drama from this period of the series' history. Praising the character of Vicky, though noting that some parts of the plot remained unexplained. In A Critical History of Doctor Who 1999, John Kenneth Moore lauded O'Brien's performance despite Vicky being a fairly obvious Susan surrogate, and enjoyed the emotional scenes in Climax. In 2008, Patrick Mulcahy of Radio Times described the serial as a neglected gem with a strong debut for Vicky and many production improvements, though noted that the mystery was a tad obvious. Oh, definitely. In 2009, DVD Talk Stuart Galbraith IV felt that the story was strong with a smart, if somewhat predictable climax and resolution that worked due to the dialogue. Cliff Chapman of Den of Geek found the serial charming and praised the performances, writing that the serial was only let down by its weak and convenient resolution. Dreamwatch appreciated the pacing, but felt that the story was lacking in comparison to the Romans. I'll agree with that. I quite like the Romans, and we'll get to that shortly. If you're so inclined, do view the next entry of AOD's Classic Doctor Who Retrospective, which will be the Romans Part 1. Thanks again, my friends.